The night was colder than it should have been, a sly, slipping kind of cold that crawled through the thin wooden window frames and settled inside the small house like an uninvited witness. Deep wrapped her arms around herself as she sat beside Nye's bed, watching the little girl sleep. The soft rise and fall of Nye's breathing offered a small anchor of peace, yet it was nowhere near enough to steady the storm tightening around her ribs. James had been gone for days. Too long, too silent, too strange. Ever since the night he appeared at the door, pale, trembling, his eyes haunted by something he refused to speak, then vanished again without a word. Diep had lived in a state of suffocating anxiety she could not confide to anyone. Someone in the village always didn't know. Others pretended not to hear the question. Even Mr. Fuck, who adored James like a son, avoided her eyes. Tonight, exhaustion finally pulled her low. She curled beside Nhi, brushing the child's soft hair and whispering, "Sleep well, my little one." "Mommy is right here." Her eyes closed. And then she heard it. A voice, soft, low, trembling with a familiar pain she had not heard in what felt like a lifetime. Diep, her breath stopped. "Diep, can you hear me?" She turned, but the room dissolved. The cold thickened into a pale, wavering mist, and from inside that mist, a silhouette emerged, slow, unsure, but unmistakably familiar. "James." Her voice cracked. "James?" He stepped close enough for her to see his face, tired, bruised, but carrying the same gentle smile she had memorized 1,000 times. His hand lifted, but it couldn't touch her, as if something invisible held him back. "I miss you, Diep," he whispered. "More than I can say. More than you know." Tears stung her eyes before she could stop them. "Where are you? What happened? Why didn't you come home?" "I'm trying," he said, voice breaking. "I'm trying to come back to you. To Nhi. But I'm trapped, Diep. I can't get out yet." Her heart pounded painfully. Trapped by who? Your father? Someone else? "James, please tell me so I can help you." James shook his head, sorrow carved into every line of his face. "I can't. Not yet." He looked at her as if memorizing her for the last time. "But listen, don't be afraid. I'm fighting. I will return to you." The mist began pulling him backward. "No, James." She reached for him, her cry tearing into the cold. "Wait for me," he said, and then. Darkness. Diep woke with a violent gasp, heart racing, cheeks wet with tears. The house stood perfectly still. Nhi slept peacefully beside her. Nothing had changed, except everything had. James's voice had been too real. His presence too solid. his pain too immediate. Deep sat at the edge of the bed long after the dream faded, her hands trembling. She wiped her cheeks quickly, afraid the tears might drop onto Nye's blanket and wake her. James, she whispered into the silent room. If that was really you, what are you trying to tell me? She forced herself to stand. The familiar rhythm of boiling water always calmed her. Work always helped. Anything was better than sitting still with a fear too large to hold. While the kettle heated, she pulled out her small notebook, the one she only used when something felt too important to forget. She wrote, "He said he missed me. He said he was trapped. He said he was trying to return." He said not to be afraid. Her pen stopped. Trapped. That single word pierced her thoughts like a sharpened thorn. She remembered the bruises on his arm, the trembling in his voice, the way he avoided every question. His abrupt disappearance, and his father's strange, icy behavior. Piece by piece, the puzzle she had been too afraid to assemble forced itself together. Someone was holding James. Someone who didn't want him near her. Someone powerful enough to silence a village. A shiver crawled along her spine. The kettle whistled violently. Her hands shook so hard the cup rattled against the table as she poured hot water. "James," she whispered, "tell me what to do." A soft noise startled her, tiny footsteps. Nhi peeked into the kitchen, eyes half open, hair sticking up like a small startled bird. Tú Điệp, con caught nook. Fear softened instantly into tenderness. Deep lifted the child and kissed her warm forehead. "All right, sweetheart. Let's get you some water." As she poured a cup, Nhi tugged on her sleeve. Tú Điệp, Uncle James ko ve na kong? The question hit Deep straight in the chest. "I think," she whispered softly, holding Nhi close, "he's trying very hard to come home." But this time, she wouldn't just wait, she would find him. The next morning, Deep moved like someone walking between two realities. One where James existed only as a memory, and another where he was reaching for her through some unseen crack between worlds. For days, strange coincidences followed her, small, subtle, but impossible to ignore. The music box James once repaired, silent for months, played two soft notes when she passed. The jasmine plant he bought, nearly dead, bloomed with sudden white flowers. Once, while sweeping the yard, she felt someone brush past her, light as wind, warm as breath. She turned. No one. Villagers said grief could blur reality, but Deep knew herself, and she knew James. Someone, was reaching for her. Exhaustion overtook her one evening. She fell asleep beside the window, moonlight painting silver across the floor. Again, the cold thickened. Again, the mist breathed open like a doorway. James appeared. This time, clearer, more real, almost alive, but he did not smile. Deep, he said urgently. Don't be afraid. I'm closer now, but time is running thin. She reached toward him, desperate, shaking, but her hand passed through air. James, where are you? Why can't you come back? Because something is holding me, he said, voice flickering. Something I didn't understand until now. His figure dimmed like a candle fighting wind. Listen to me. There's a reason I can reach you this way. Why? She whispered, trembling. Your heart, he said. It's the only path I have left. The room trembled. Find the truth, Deep, he said. Find what they hid from us. The light shattered. He vanished. The next morning, determination pulsed through her veins. Find what they hid from us. Her first step. James's younger brother, Theen. His eyes had aged years since James vanished. He hesitated before letting her in, as though her presence awakened memories he had tried to bury. You dreamed of him, again, he said softly. She nodded. Theen swallowed hard, then went to an old cabinet and retrieved a small locked box. James found this before. Everything, he whispered. He said he needed time to understand it. But he never got the chance. Inside were letters, yellowed, brittle, stained with the weight of secrets. Some were from James's father. Others were from a man she didn't recognize until she saw the signature. John. A cold tremor ran through her. John, the man who hovered at the edges of their lives. The man who once confessed feelings for her. The man whose rivalry with James hardened into hatred. The letters told a story. Deals gone wrong. Manipulations. A stolen plot of land. A feud stretching across decades. In the final letter, one sentence froze her blood. If I cannot break James in life, I will break him in every other way, and when he falls, everything he loves will fall with him. The room went silent. Deep closed the letter with trembling hands. Now she understood. James wasn't simply lost. He was trapped, inside consequences born from a past neither of them had been allowed to see. And if she wanted him back, she would have to face John, even if it meant losing everything.